And welcome to the United Stand. This is your Liverpool versus Manchester United preview and latest Manchester United transfer news. We can't escape that at the moment. Ashley Young has gone to Italy. Yabba dabba doo. Very happy about that. Very happy about that, to be honest with you. But want to talk about Liverpool versus Manchester United. There is a bit of updates on Bruno Fernandes and also on Babakary Samari, who we did a video on at 4 o'clock today, in fact, talking about Sky sources. It has actually come from Sky Cave, who is the guy in the summer who was talking about Wan-Bissaka, Dan James, Longstaff, Maguire. Very accurate. He says that Babakary Samori will leave Lille after the 26th of January when they play PSG, and at the moment he's leaning slightly towards Chelsea, although he is interested in Manchester United. Why the bloody hell would you go to Chelsea? Why would you go to Chelsea? They've got loads of midfielders. I don't know why you do that. But let's talk about Liverpool versus Manchester United first. Then we'll talk a little bit about Bruno, because there is a development there. But look, I want to just say, Liverpool... I saw a Liverpool fan today saying, "Oh, look at United, the way they celebrated their point again is like they'd won the Champions League and they're desperate to beat us at Anfield." I thought, you clearly are a glory-supporting Liverpool fan, aren't you? You've clearly jumped on the bandwagon in the last 18 months. You've got no idea, mate, about the rivalry between Liverpool and Manchester United. This is the biggest game in English football. I don't care whether Liverpool are good or United are shit or Man United are great and Liverpool are shit. The reality is, this is the biggest game in English football. And if you think, oh, United are overplaying it because it's Liverpool or we don't give it... If you're a Liverpool fan and you think, oh, I don't care about Manchester United, you're not really a Liverpool fan. I'm sorry. And it works the other ways. Liverpool-Manchester United is the biggest game. Liverpool-Manchester United at Anfield is the game that when I watch it on TV, because I've never been to it at Anfield, I'll put my hands up and say I've never been to it. When I've watched it on TV... I'm 100% for the whole 94 minutes or however many minutes, I'm stood up, stressed out. And you'll see it on Sunday on the watch along. I'm stressed in that game. Doesn't matter whether we're winning 3-1 or not, I'm stressed. It's a very stressful game because it's our biggest rival and you don't want to get beat there. So I want to see Manchester United not go in there submissive. I feel as if we're almost teeing ourselves up to lose. And my prediction is we probably will lose. But I'm not going into it saying it's fine to lose. It's our biggest rival. They're unbeaten. They're going to win the Premier League. They could win the treble. We have got to go and put a statement there. I don't care if it's the last breath you've got. You've got to play with every ounce of pride in that shirt that you can muster. And we can win these games. We've won these sort of games before. We can't be submissive. I want to see yellow cards. I want to see red cards. I want to go in there and fight. It's effectively a derby. We said it about Man City a couple of weeks ago about how, a derby's a great leveller. But this is a real derby. It's not a derby in the sense of location. Manchester United, Man City is the Manchester derby. Everton, Liverpool is the Liverpool derby. But in relation to rivalry, there is no bigger game. This is it. It's like Barcelona, Real Madrid. It's passion, it's fight, and I want to bloody see it. I'm not being... I can read this club like a book, and I think we're being played like a bloody fiddle. I really do. I think it's not easy to play a fiddle. Played like a recorder. We are, because I reckon that Manchester United could have got Bruno Fernandes done this week. And I think it's being held back till Monday so that if we lose to Liverpool, they can go, there's the new signing and paper over the cracks as per usual. But I tell you what, how's about we beat Liverpool on Sunday and then Bruno Fernandes comes in? How about that can be the new start? But I just feel that we're going into this game and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's press conference tomorrow is going to be very interesting because I think he'll lay out the bloody praise of Klopp and Liverpool and respect. And that's not Manchester United. That was never Sir Alex Ferguson. That's not what we're about. This is our biggest rival and it works both ways. Liverpool want to slam us on Sunday. There's no respect. There's no sympathy. They want to slam us. And I actually agree with them. I want to beat them. There's nothing more I would like to do than beat them. And ultimately, it won't stop them winning the league, but it will still be up yours. You didn't beat us this season because they didn't beat us at Old Trafford. I want to beat them, and I want the players to go into that game and beat them. I want them to fight for it. I want them to be up for it. I'm not going into that game on Sunday being submissive, going, well, I think we're going to lose. It's all right. Screw that. Screw it. I've seen Everton beat Liverpool when they're crap, and I've seen Man City beat United when they were crap. It's a derby. I know it's not technically, but it's a derby. It's a rivalry. It's a great leveller. I don't want to go in that game and get beaten 4-0 and just be a team that gives them 80% possession and sits back and parks the bus. It's a blood and guts game. Let's get up for it and let's bloody have it. That's what I say. Can you go live earlier so I don't miss Love Island, says Alex B. I play football on a Thursday, so that's why it's later. Have you seen the recent news on Bruno? Apparently Woodward doesn't want to pay the price and I have a funny feeling we're going to beat Liverpool, says Jay Singh. Look, the latest on Bruno Fernandes, if I can just give you a little bit of an update. Please do smash a like on the video, everybody, especially if you think we've got to go into this game with a bit of bloody pride. cry. You know what? Ollie needs a bloody rocket up his arse. He does. I want to see him tomorrow morning on that press conference having it a little bit. I don't want him to see him sat down going, yeah, Klopp's done a good job. It's going to be a very hard game for the lads. We're really tired. Who knows if Marcus Rashid is fit? I don't want any of that, Ollie. I want a bit of bump and grind. Get it on. Come on. Shut up, Klopp. Get up there. Look, Liverpool are probably going to beat us on Sunday. Let me be realistic here. But nothing is impossible. And it's about time we started playing for that badge. It's about time we started playing with a bit of bloody passion. It's 11 men against 11 men. First 5 minutes, Matic, go and give someone. Don't get yourself sent off. But literally, crunch in. Brandon Williams will have a bit. Wan-Bissaka will have a bit. Harry Maguire, go on. You've got over 90% aerial duels. Come on, win it. Get up for it. I think this is the only way. The only way we're going to win that game is by fighting them. If we go toe-to-toe with them at football, tactically we'll get scored. This is how we win this game. A bit of fight. Yellow cards, don't care. You know, I tell you who we need in this game. The biggest shithouse of the lot, Ander Herrera. That's who we need in this game. We need Ander Herrera. That's the sort of character we need. We need a bit of fight. You know, Fred, go and get a couple of yellow cards. That's a red. But, you know, go and get a yellow card. Pereira, go and get a yellow card. And that is how I think I'm going to talk about Bruno Fernandes, don't worry. That's how I think we need to line up on Sunday. I wanted to have Bruno Fernandes in that team. It's not going to happen unless he signs tomorrow by midday, which is not going to happen because he's not even on the plane yet. If we had big club mentality, we would have had Bruno for Liverpool, says Ben Castle. And so proud of Flex in the United stand. Keep it up, says Not an Idiot. Not an Idiot comments as well. But I do agree with you on that one. If we had a big club mentality, I had somebody DM me today on Twitter and say, you're so bloody negative about Bruno Fernandes. You talk about you really want him. You said you're going to back Ollie if you get him. The transfer window doesn't close till the end of January. Well, I don't normally reply to trolls, but I did reply and I went, how many games have we had this January? When did the January transfer window open? When does January happen every year? When should we have signed Bruno Fernandes? In the summer. January the 1st it opens. We could have got it done by then. We've got game after game after game in January. It's not the summer. Oh, we can get it done by the end of the summer. We have got games. If we had a big club mentality, we would have got him in on January the 1st. Second place, we would have got him in before this Liverpool game. The fact that we're there, bumping and grinding, getting a little bit of 5 million. I mean, actually, Flex was on Sky Sports today, and the Sky Sports presenter said, basically said to Flex, I know you say that they're taking the time on this deal, but there's talk that they're going to get him for cheaper than they would have got him in the summer. That's good for United fans. And Flex didn't pick up on it. And I thought straight away, no! Why should I care if we pay 60 million for him in the summer, but we wait 6 months and get him for 50 million? That is totally the wrong mindset of Manchester United fans. But Sky were talking to Flex as if that's a good thing. Well, you were right to wait because you're getting him for 50 this time. He would have been 60 in the summer. Oh, wow! Oh, that's all right then. The fact that we've been absolutely terrible in midfield for four months and messed up our season, well, at least we've saved 10 million. Where's that 10 million going to go? Straight into the Woodward and Glazer's pocket. I don't care if we should have bought. I don't care about saving 50. If we get him 50 million, I'm not going to go, ooh, well done, the club. You've done great. Because this is why we take ages on deals. Save a little bit of money for Woodward. That's all they're bothered about. Good evening, Mark Dino. Just a quick one. I'm intrigued what Bruno will do after the Benfica game. Possibly clapping the crowd to say goodbye, says Son Goko Ian 77. As long as he's not going off on a stretcher, I think it's a big risk. I've just seen the Bruno deal could be at risk because United can't agree a fee with Sporting. Is this true? Probably, says Jordan Such. And Charlie Rogers TGC says, this Bruno deal should be done. Who do United think they are to be arguing over his value? Lost that luxury in the summer. Take your medicine and buy him. I agree with you on that one. I don't know if... let me just talk about Bruno Fernandes then. Look, I want to talk about this Liverpool game because I want to get up for this one. It's a massive game on Sunday. And I feel that the January transfer window is a bit of a pain in the backside, isn't it? Because we're so focused on transfers. But what's the most important thing? Football. We're a football club. And this is our biggest game, the toughest game of the season, Anfield. It always is. But I would like to have seen Bruno Fernandes playing in this. Now, a lot of people I've had messages today, people saying, between you and me, it's done. Don't put it out there, but it's done. It'll be announced out on the weekend. It's done. And I'm like, it's not done. It's not done. I think it will be done. I won't believe it till he holds the shirt, but I think it's definitely happening and it's close to... We've moved from, was it speculation, to it's definitely happening, to it's done. It's not done. Right, anybody who says it's done, it's not. I think they're trying to get the jump on this. Personal terms have been agreed with the player. The value of the player has not been sorted yet with Sporting Lisbon. That is the hold-up. And also, they want him to play against Benfica tomorrow night. If he plays against Benfica tomorrow night and breaks his leg, the deal's not done, is it? It's over. So you can't say the deal is done if he's playing against Benfica tomorrow night. And also, it's not done till we agree the fee. I'm sure we will agree the fee at some point, but it's not done until that happens. Ollie Christian Hulk says the top three under 23 goal scorers this season in the 5 major championships: Rashford 14, Tammy Abraham 13, Mbappe 13. Wan-Bissaka is still our player of the year. I think Wan-Bissaka is our player of the year, actually. But look, that's how I think we're going to line up against Liverpool. We can talk a little bit about Bruno in a moment, but that's how we're going to have to line up. Obviously, De Gea comes in goal, Lindelof and Maguire centre backs, Williams and Wan-Bissaka full backs. They pick themselves. If they keep a clean sheet on Sunday, and they can do, that's the key. If they can keep a clean sheet, happy days. Matic and Fred have got to be the midfield too. There is no combination. We literally can't play anybody else in them holding 2 midfield positions. It's got to be them. There's no Pogba, there's no McTominay, there's no signing. The front three, look, hopefully Rashford's fit. If Rashford's fit, I think we've got a fighting chance. You know, Liverpool are firm favourites, but if Rashford's fit, we've got a fighting chance. If Rashford's not fit, then what does that mean for Manchester United? I'll talk about that in a minute. Pereira's got to play in the number 10 position, quite simply because Pereira's got a bit of aggression. Mata's not aggressive, Lingard's too weak, and also Lingard's awful, and Mata, I don't think it suits Mata to play this game. So I would play Pereira because there's going to be a lot of defending and he can put a tackle in and pick a yellow card up. And I keep talking about yellow cards. I'm not talking about breaking people's legs. I'm just talking about being competitive. That's what we need to be. Martial obviously plays at 9. Rashford off the left. And I would play Dan James. I would play Dan James because Mason Greenwood didn't look involved enough the other night starting. And I think at Anfield, the interesting thing you can get at Liverpool here is shooting from distance against Ruddy the other night would have been a good idea. Shooting against Alisson, statistically he's very good at dealing with shots. In the air, he's not so good. So what we need to do, and we've not done it very well this season, but this is how you beat Liverpool. What we need to do this season, Trent Alexander-Arnold isn't good in one-on-ones. So Rashford or Dan James, they need to get at the fullbacks. Get free kicks, deliver good balls into the box, use the height of Harry Maguire and Matic. This is how we cause problems for Liverpool. And the way to do that is to win free kicks and be running direct. And that's what United need to do. We're no good at passing the ball. And you know, with the midfield we've got, we're not going to carve them open. What we need to do is get quick ball to our wingers, Dan James and Rashford, and just tell them, whatever you do all day, get the ball, turn and run at the fullback. Get free kicks, whatever you do, that is United's key to hurting Liverpool. We've got to get Rashford and James running at their fullbacks, who are very good, but I think James and Rashford can cause them problems, and then crosses into the box, things like that. It's going to be very difficult to score against Liverpool. They are good defensively. We've got to not concede, and we've got to try and cause them problems down those flanks. That's the only thing, because they're going to cause us problems down the flanks, definitely, without a question of doubt. If Rashford is injured, then we're in trouble, because what do you do then? Like, this is the problem with United, isn't it? We're talking about getting a Bruno Fernandes deal done, but if we lose Martial or Rashford, who actually plays for Manchester United? Tahith Chong? Angel Gomez? No chance. He's probably going to play Jesse Lingard, isn't he? So we desperately need him to be fit and playing in that game. Okay. Shady Abanasa says, I can see Woodward pulling off the deal in order to save 10 million. If this happens, fanbase should do something that will hurt the board financially. And Jordan Such says, apparently Sporting want 55 million up front and United won't go over 42 up front. That is what I have just seen. It's not even 5 million apart. It's a joke if there is any truth in it. Well, look, let's just be calm. Let's be calm and see what happens with it. We'll have to just wait and see what happens with regards to that. But look, that deal is there to be done. There's no doubt that Manchester United are working on that deal. The world knows Manchester United are working on that deal. And if they fail, then it's another indication of what idiots the clubs are. There is a bit of an update from Duncan Castles, if anybody's interested. He says, Man United offer is $50 million plus 30 million in variables. Variables hard to achieve. Win the Premier League, Champions League. Sporting wants 65 million plus variables. Sporting have been unable to include Manchester United players in the deal. So United are going cheap again, aren't they, by the looks of it? Which is just which is just, it's highly frustrating. It's highly frustrating. I can see Williams getting doubled up on against City. Whoever's on the left wing must track back, says Sean Byrne. Well, look, that press conference tomorrow with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is very, very interesting. We do need Marcus Rashford fit. I think we basically lose that game if he's not. I think it's that important. And it's not even... I think Marcus Rashford is a very important player for Manchester United, but it's not even that. We don't have any backup. We don't have any backup for Martial and Rashford. And as soon as one of them get injured, and mark my words... they are going to get injured between now and May. This is why I don't think we'll get top four, and this is why I think we'll struggle to win anything, because we just don't have the squad depth in the attacking positions or in the midfield. We're double hamstrung, really. So we need Rashford on Sunday. It will be difficult. It will be difficult. And look, my score prediction, because a lot of people are saying that, I don't know what your score prediction is, but my score prediction for United versus Liverpool is that my head says we'll lose 3-1. But my heart says we might get a draw. If we defend well and we do our job defensively, we have got quite a good record in relation to Salah, Mane and Firmino not scoring against us. I can't see, and this is famous last words, I can't see Liverpool smashing us 3 or 4-0. I don't think they can do that. I think Man City can do that. I don't think Liverpool can, because traditionally their front three don't score against us and don't do particularly well against us. And as we saw at Old Trafford, we have a way of playing against Klopp that even Mourinho did, which sort of suffocates Liverpool. So I think it might be quite a tight game. And if we can keep a clean sheet, which is going to be very difficult, but if we can keep a clean sheet, we're always a threat on the break. So look, I'm not going to predict we're going to win. I think that's really naive. But I can't stop coming back to the fact that this, to me, now we're close to it, I feel the passion and I feel the enormity of the game. It's Manchester United against Liverpool at Anfield. They're going to be up for it. They're having the best season they've ever had. We've got to be up for it. There's pride, there's the shirt, there's passion, and we've got to go and have a fight. Not in the sense of physical fight, but in a footballing sense, we've got to go and fight them from minute one. It is 11 men against 11 men. They are a better team than us. They've got a better coach. They've got better players. They've got a better system. If we go toe-to-toe them in a footballing sense, they will beat us. But it's 11 men against 11 men. They're not going to beat us in a physical encounter. We've got people who are good at that. Wan-Bissaka's physical. Brandon Williams is physical. Harry Maguire is physical. Matic is physical. These players can go toe-to-toe. I mean, look at the Liverpool team, right? Van Dijk is physical, definitely. Trent Alexander-Arnold, actually, for his age, and he's quite physical. Robertson's not particularly physical. He's a bit like Brandon Williams, though. He likes a bit of a fight. Lovren, if he plays, or Matip or Gomez, all right, they're a centre-back. They're going to be physical. But Henderson's competitive. Wijnaldum's competitive. And who else plays in their midfield? Henderson and Fabinho, if he plays, is competitive. We've got to be competitive in the midfield. Their front three, Mane, Salah and Firmino, they're not really physical. So there's no reason we can't win a physical battle with Liverpool, and that's what we've got to do. From minute one, we've got to get into that game and fight. And to be honest with you, if United lose 2-0 and we have a man sent off, at least they'll go, well, we've been there and had a go at them. And I think that's the most important thing. And I think that I think it's going to be... Look, my head says we'll lose 3-1. My heart says we can go and get something there. And to be honest with you, people will say, well, a draw. But I think we could win as much as draw. I think we could nick it 1-0 as much as we could get a 1-1 draw. I think with United, a draw and a win, as long as it's a nicked win, is never too far apart. And I've seen Manchester United go to Anfield in recent years, get absolutely dominated and nick it. So we can do it. We can do it, and we've got to believe that, and we've got to fight for it. And that's as simple as it gets. Simple as it gets. Mane is physical, says Yazza. Yeah, they're all bloody competitive, because you've got to be at the highest level. But I think that we've got to put pressure on the ball, because another thing as well, Trent Alexander-Arnold, his ball retention stat is quite low. When he's got the ball, he's bloody brilliant. His attacking score is very, very high. But on the ball, his ball retention is quite low. So, yeah, when he puts the right balls in, he's a pain. But he does play risky passes. So I think whoever plays off that left side, and this is why Rashford's so important, they've got to pressure and track Trent Alexander-Arnold. The person who said they'll double up on Williams is right. Trent Alexander-Arnold is going to get forward. So Rashford has got to push him back. and get at him. It's a really important role for him today on Sunday. I mean, in reality, if Rashford wasn't fit, I wouldn't mind Dan James playing there because he does work hard backwards and forward. But who would you play off the right? You know, you're going to play bloody Lingard against Robertson. It's a total mismatch. We desperately need them to play. Eric Bay can get a red card for you, says Ollie Kristen Hulk. I suppose that's a very good question. Do you think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer will play this game in a different way? Do you think he will go with the 4-2-3-1, or do you think we'll see some stupid 3-5-2? He might try, and I really hope Ole Gunnar Solskjaer doesn't try and be clever with his tactics and his formation, because he's not mastered the basics yet. You know, we don't even know what his basic formation is other than counter-attack. So please don't change the formation into some clever shit that's going to get you embarrassed. We don't want to see 5 at the back. We don't want to see a diamond in the midfield with 2 up front, which we might do if Rashford's fit, to be fair. If that's forced, it's forced. But I don't want to see 5 at the back. It's never worked for us, and I think we've just got to go with what we are and who we are. Eric Bay could be back for this game. Ashley Young perfect for this game, says Gail Dahia. Well, Ashley Young's gone to Inter Milan. Fabrizio Romano is talking about that Ashley Young is gone, and he's gone to Inter Milan, and that will be announced over the weekend. And I think he had to go. He had to go. And you're right, Ashley Young normally would be quite good for a game like this. And I think Ashley Young has really surprised me. I've never been a fan of Ashley Young. I've got to be honest. I've never been not since he moved to a fullback anyway, because he's not a fullback. I think positionally he was poor. He was always a liability. But in certain games he did turn up and play quite well. And normally against Liverpool and Salah, to be fair. But I'm really surprised at Ashley Young, because I never would have predicted that halfway through the season as club captain, he'd down tools and say, I want to go. I'm really surprised at that, because he has played regular football and he is the club captain, and he's meant to understand what Manchester United's all about, and he's meant to be a servant to the club, and he's really forced his way out. I mean, we've not seen him in the match squad for the last 2 games. Ollie clearly didn't want to let him go, and I think this is a problem, a bigger problem, away from Liverpool and away from Bruno Fernandes and away from the January transfer window. This is a significant hint of the problems going on at Manchester United, when the manager of the football club is basically saying, I want Ashley Young to stay. Not many other fans want him to, but I want Ashley Young to stay, and Ashley Young has gone, I want to go. You know, so it is very indicative of the problems that you hear are going on in United's dressing room, and that's only backed up by the fact that people like Marcus Rashford apparently wanting to link up with Mino Raiola as well. So it is interesting, isn't it? And it's going to be interesting to see how it all works out. But yeah, I mean, a lot of people talking about Bruno Fernandes and the deal potentially moving through. I feel like I must just have a quick scout around and look. I think it's very difficult for me to discuss the Bruno Fernandes deal, because I just get so emotional. I just really want to sign the player, and if we mess it up again, I don't know what I'm going to do. But in seriousness, it's very hard for me to talk about it as well, because I have had messages from people today saying the deal's done, it's going to get announced after the Benfica game. But now we're getting stuff about the fee. Now, if I take everything into account, things I've been told and a lot of what I've seen on the websites and news outlets out there, my stance with Bruno Fernandes has always been since where I am now. My stance on Bruno Fernandes is this: he's going to play for Sporting Lisbon tomorrow night. That is a risk that we should never have allowed to happen. He has agreed personal terms with Manchester United, which means he wants to come to the club, but the fee has not been sorted with Sporting Lisbon. So he wants to come, and we've agreed personal terms. It should be done at the weekend or next Monday. But the problem is, if he gets injured tomorrow, that's a problem. Or if we can't agree a fee with Sporting Lisbon. And that is where we are at. So when people start saying that Sporting Lisbon are going to pull out, I think that we have a problem. Because I cannot listen. I mean, even listening to the Sporting Lisbon manager today, he's spot on. You know, they don't want to lose him. He's a fantastic player. They appreciate he's got to go because he's got to take a step up, and they've got to get the money for him because they need the money. But it shouldn't just be Manchester United in for this player. We should not be negotiating a player who I said in the summer is worth £60 million, not €60 million. I think he's worth £60 million, which is nearly €70 million. And you hear that we don't want to pay over 45 or 42. I'm sorry, that is abysmal, and that's my football club. Like, he is worth £60 million. I'm sorry. If people disagree with me, that's fine. But if you look at what he's been doing for the last 18 months, and for Portugal, in today's market, he is worth £60 million. You are getting a player who is a leader, is a goal scorer, he is a goal creator, and he is a fighter, and he works 100% from minute 1 to minute 90. He is potentially one of the best midfielders in Europe, and we can get him. You don't start trying to take the piss out of Sporting Lisbon and getting him at a bargain price. We are desperate. Beggars cannot be choosers. All the little cliches you want to throw out there, we have got no midfield. This player was not a player I expected us to sign in January. A week ago, very strong, credible people said we were negotiating for him, and I started to believe it. I've said it's happening, and I think we all know it's very, very close to being done. But we've got people in charge of our football club who could mess anything up, and I won't believe it till it holds the shirt up because of that reason. This deal should get done. That's where I'm at. This deal should get done. This is not like in the summer where they pretended they weren't in for him. They're in for him. This is close. This is so close you can almost touch it. And if they mess it up, it is 100% on the owners and the people that negotiate for us. So that's the situation. There's no... I knew in the summer that we wanted Bruno Fernandes, and I think we walked away because of the price. In fact, I know that's what happened. But a lot of people went, wow, we were never in for him. We were never in for him. The club said we were never in for him. I know we were in for him, but I'll never be able to prove it. But with this, in January, we all know we're in for him. And if they walk away from it, it's about people in charge of our football club messing about to save money again. And I'll tell you what, if they come out and say, we won't be held to ransom, you can shove it right up your arse. We won't be held to ransom. He's worth, I said it about Wan-Bissaka in the summer when we were negotiating, £50 million. And United apparently wanted to pay 35 plus this plus that. So maybe we've got a similar story here. Maybe we will just end up signing him for around 60. But I said at the time, Wan-Bissaka is worth £50 million. United, even as a United fan, he's worth £50 million because of what he's done in the Premier League and because he's English. That's why he's worth 50 million. If he was Wan-Bissaka from France, France is probably the best league actually. He's probably, as a right back, he's probably worth about 25 to 30. But because he's an English, or even Portugal as a right back, he's probably worth about 25 to 30. But because he's English, he's worth 50. Bruno Fernandes is not a £42 million player. He's a £60 million player. And it's as simple as that. And if we don't play the money and we walk away from the deal, it's absolutely ridiculous. But we will have to wait and see. We'll have to wait and see what happens with it. I think there's a lot of people getting stressed about it now. I understand why. It's always nervous. People are right to be nervous, of course. But, look, can United mess it up from this point? Of course they can. Of course they can. Do I think they'll mess it up? Look, even I think they can't mess this up. But, we'll have to wait and see. Jordan Such, March, it's so obvious United are allowing Bruno to play tomorrow, right? Because United know we aren't willing to pay up. I will keep saying we will pay 80 million for Maguire. More than Van Dijk, but can't pay about 55 to 60 million for Bruno. Yeah. And Mark, who do you think is the reason for Bruno Fernandes wanting to come to United? What do you think is the reason he wants to come to Manchester United, Ashmal Cosman? Because despite the fact that we're rubbish, Manchester United is still a massive football club. We are. We're still a big name. And if you're playing in the Portuguese league for Sporting Lisbon and Manchester United want you and you want to come to the Premier League and you can play in front of 75,000 people, you're going to do it. Some players, despite the fact that it might not be good for their career, do aspire to play for this football club. And also, somebody said this today, we're very lucky that nobody else are in for Bruno Fernandes in January, because if they were, we'd miss out. We would miss out because somebody else would pay it. And I think Spurs apparently offered more than £50 million for him in the summer. So it is a worry. Liverpool versus United preview has not turned into a Bruno rant because we've done the Liverpool versus United preview. I've said everything I want to say about that. We've got to go into it. We've got to fight for it. That's the team I would pick. We can't be submissive, and I think Ollie's words in the press conference are going to be very interesting tomorrow. Not only because of how will he react to, will we get anything about Bruno Fernandes, but we'll see. We'll see how it goes. I still believe that Bruno Fernandes' story is just a smokescreen for the club to say we tried to buy him, but they asked for far too much money, says Casito William. But it won't wash this time. That's what I'm trying to say. How many people watching here now, if Manchester United say we won't be held to ransom, we didn't sign him, would go, that's fine? They wouldn't. They wouldn't. There would be absolute outrage, and quite rightly so. I don't think the club can get away with not signing him. I really don't. They've got to sign him. You've got to spend the money. But what I would say is, I've been told by somebody that Manchester United actually don't have a lot of money, and they had to sell Lukaku to cover the cost of the transfers in the summer. So that's why we didn't get a replacement. There actually isn't a lot of money for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer to spend, which, if you look at the last 4 transfer windows, last 2 Januaries spent nothing, last 2 summers it's a £60 million net spend. So it's 120 million over the last 4 transfer windows, which works out at 30 million per transfer window over the last 4 for a club like ours with huge revenue. So maybe there's something in that. Maybe we negotiate these prices down because we actually haven't got the money. Well, we have, but the budget is small. As it Parakita says, would you start Pogba and Bruno together? Who would you pick as your third midfielder between Fred, Matic and McTominay? Well, I read something today that Ollie wants to play McTominay, Pogba and Fernandes together, which I think would work quite well. I think it would work quite well. The fee hasn't been agreed and nothing about United don't want to pay 55 million. All media saying that a fee is yet to be agreed, says the imposter. Well, I think we've been talking about that for about half an hour, and that's what I mean. There's a lot of people online today on social media saying the deal's done, but we haven't agreed the fee with Sporting Lisbon. We haven't. It is as simple as that. We have not agreed a fee, and I keep saying this. Personal terms have been agreed. Effectively, the deal is agreed in some sense because we've agreed to sign Bruno Fernandes. He wants to come. But the deal isn't ratified until the fee is done. That's when the deal is officially done, and we've not done that, have we? So, there we go. And on Babakari Samari, which I spoke about at the start of the video, and we did a video on him at 4 o'clock, Sky are saying that United and Chelsea are looking likely to sign him after January the 26th when Lille play PSG. Apparently he's leaning towards Chelsea, which... we could end up with bloody nothing. Longstaff, 50 million. We'll have to wait and see, won't we? We're now paying the price for no Champions League. That's where the money has gone, to Steve Lane. We are going to start to lose money. And also, as a backdrop to all of this, as we know, somehow, even though our squad is wafer thin in the attack and the midfield, and also the deadwood is crap, we still have got the biggest wage bill in the Premier League. I mean, that one blows my mind. That blows my mind every time I have to say it. We have got the biggest wage bill in the Premier League. How? Like, who are we paying? Like, are we paying like youth players 100 grand a week? I mean, how does our wage bill accumulate to be more than Man City or Chelsea? Like Liverpool have got 6 midfielders that all could play first team football. So have Man City. So have Chelsea. Like, Man City have got De Bruyne, Laporte, Aguero, Sane, Salah, Mahrez, Sterling. I've said him twice. Bernardo Silva, David Silva, Rodri, Fernandinho, Kyle Walker. They've got loads of good players. Our wage bill's bigger than theirs. I just don't get it. Do us a favour, Jinx Bridge, and predict a Liverpool win, please, mate, says Loz. Yeah, all right, I'm going to predict a Liverpool win 3-1. I don't get it. Say if Bruno will help us reach top 4 Champions League, won't that give Man United more money, as in spend on Bruno to get the Champions League money, says Stig Tveng. Yeah, but that's Manchester United for you, mate. We don't think like that. We think like a business and not like a football club. You're right. If we bought a couple of players now, we could get into the Champions League in May, and then we will earn a lot more money than we will if we're in the Europa League in May. So, but the club doesn't think that. They think about realistic bottom lines. They won't speculate to accumulate because that's not how they think. But that's how a football club should think, like us. I heard that MUTV said that if we sign Bruno, our midfield becomes world class. Are they stupid? No matter how good a player is, Bruno, our midfield won't become world class with one addition. Well, that's MUTV for you, isn't it? It's the propaganda channel. It's like Mr. and Mrs. Positive channel, isn't it? It's not real. Anyway, look. Thanks everyone for watching. Smash a like on the video. Make sure you subscribe if you are new. And we will be back if there's any more breaking news. If not, it's tomorrow morning for the Ole Gunnar Solskjaer press conference, which I think is going to be very interesting. Thanks everyone for watching. Speak to you all soon. Interesting times ahead. Make sure you subscribe and smash a like.